All right, guys, so we just discussed Donald Trump basically announcing in a press conference that he says he has the powers of a king, that he can do what he wants. Only he and the attorney general can determine what the law is. I mean, that's a direct FU to the courts. The whole idea of the court system is they interpret, if there's some sort of a disagreement about what the law actually is, and there's competing visions, you go to the courts and they will clarify, hey, this person is more in accordance with the law than that person, right? So it's a giant FU to the courts, including the Supreme Court. And so what we're seeing is on most of the court orders that Trump and Elon are getting, they're defying them. There's been some where they've complied, but most of them they're not. And there's now 23 lawsuits against Trump and Elon. Now, at the same time, Trump is sort of puffing his chest out and acting like, bitch, you can't do anything to stop me. What's interesting is that Elon Musk is feeling the heat. Elon Musk is apparently not as confident as Trump that, hey, we can just get away with all this stuff, right? So listen to this. This is wild. This is from Kyle Cheney of Politico. He says the following. The White House confirms tonight that Elon Musk is not the administrator of Doge and is not even technically part of it. He's a, quote, senior advisor to the president, like Anita Dunn, they say. So this is in court papers with all of these lawsuits going on with the brazenly illegal actions of Elon. They're responding in court and saying, Doge, bro? Like Doge, bro? I don't even know. I don't even know what you're talking about, homie. Doge. What's Doge? I never heard of Doge. What's Elon? He doesn't even, he's not even... Whatever, bro. Like this, their reaction is to try to distance him from Doge, to basically disown Doge, where he says, oh yeah, no, like for PR reasons and marketing reasons, I'm pretending like I'm really an intricate part of this. But in reality, I have like nothing to do with it, bro. I don't even know what you're talking about. Oh, really? So who's calling all the shots? Who's getting your 19-year-old pilled up Groiper hackers to do everything they're doing? Like, who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? I mean, this is like, they think you're stupid. They are spitting in your eye and telling you it's raining. Like, fucking obviously, you're the Doge guy. Obviously, you were just doing a press conference in the White House explaining in detail what Doge is up to and what you're instructing your people to do. By the way, none of them have any security clearance whatsoever. One of them was fired from a previous job for giving away company secrets. They've been hacking around even the Department of Energy, which has our nuclear information, on top of firing people in those departments. But Elon is doing. Why is he doing this? He feels like, bro, this is my only out. Like, this is the only out I have, is to be like, Doge? I don't even know what Doge is, bro. What are you talking about, bro? He feels like this is his only way out. So this is a sign. Elon feels like if he owns everything Doge is doing, he actually could go down. Like, there is a timeline where his ass ends up with serious, serious consequences as a direct result of his actions today. And you know what? He's not fucking wrong. He's not wrong. As I said to you guys from day one, this isn't like a close call. This is so wildly illegal and unconstitutional that even the MAGA judges are like, you obviously can't do this. Right? And so now, again, Trump is sort of taking a different path where he's puffing his chest out and being like, well, the Supreme Court said I can do anything that I think is official in my own mind. And so he's sort of being like, fuck you. I do what I want. Right? But Elon is clearly feeling the heat. And that's why he's distancing himself from Doge. But of course, this is a complete snake weasel tactic because it's the most brazen lie ever told in human history. And like, even the biggest Elon fans in the world will look at this and be like, come on, bro, you got nothing to do with Doge. But he wants to get away from any sort of legal accountability. Okay. So now at the same time, guys, what is Doge doing at this very moment? According to ProPublica, Doge is behind the abrupt cancellation of $900 million in contracts overseen by the Institute of Education Sciences, a Department of Education division responsible for much of what we know about the state of U.S. schools. So this is one of the cuts that they're making. The head of the FDA just resigned. So food safety, there's been dozens of people who work on food safety who have been axed by Doge. I don't know, that seems kind of like a big deal. That seems like a big deal. Now, furthermore, Doge, remember they said, we're going to show you receipts on what we're doing and we're going to show it to you over the weekend. Well, guess what? The weekend came and went. They didn't update anything. They fucking lied. Soon thereafter, they decided, okay, yeah, here, we'll post some stuff of what we're doing. But you ready for this, guys? They are committing fraud out in the open. And they are being so shameless with even their accounting of what they're doing. Ready? So this is a thread that went viral here. This is really interesting. After several days, Doge has finally posted its purported savings. Why did it take so long to create a simple web page with a 1,000-row table? Who knows? Let's dig in. Headline number, $55 billion saved. They list the savings per nixed contract. This should be easy to verify then. Here we go. The first thing I did is add up the saved column for all canceled contracts and real estate. The numbers are $16.5 billion and $0.14 billion, respectively. Odd, since almost all of the purported savings come from contracts. We'll focus on that. The single biggest ticket item is a DHS contract listed as saving $8 billion. Wow, that's a huge contract. Actually, no, it's $8 million. They must have tried to automate scraping the FPDS form and failed. That means we're down to $8.5 billion in savings. So you can see here, they say they saved $8 billion, but if you look at the actual contract, it says $8 million. Okay, more. The next three biggest ticket items are all USAID contracts listed as $655 million each, so $2 billion total. Wow, that's pretty big. Wait, these are IDVs, not contracts. $655 million is the entire set-aside being triple counted. In the first 5 years, only $73 million was awarded and only 2 years remain. So they're fuzzy math, as it's called. Fuzzy math. They're really trying to pull the wool over everybody's eyes here and act like, oh, here's all the things we're doing, and we laid it all out for, oh, what? The math doesn't add up, and you don't understand the way the contracts work, and you're misstating things massively? All right, more. So we're down to $6.5 billion in savings, and an alarming trend emerges. Doge does not seem to understand how the government contracts they are canceling work. You don't say. The savings they are claiming are not annual savings, but rather hypothetical savings if we spent every unobligated penny. And more importantly, they are just getting it wrong with alarming consistency. These numbers are erroneous. This select group of geniuses has not double-checked even the largest items accounting for the bulk of their claimed savings. This is a sad, pathetic farce. Here's the next biggest item, an IT service contract for the Social Security Administration worth $1 billion. That's a lot of savings. Well, again, this contract spanned 6 years, and 80% of it has already been spent. Ah, well, more like $240 million in savings spread over the next 3 years, $80 million a year. In 2023, this contract funded 1,000 FTEs working $100 per hour. Did we need 1,000 SWEs working on the Social Security Administration infrastructure? Probably not. These could be valid savings. Disclaimer, no idea what they actually did. But worth noting that these cuts will impact many private sector jobs as well. And if anyone is curious, there are currently 17 lines that say CFPDS rather than the savings amount. I guess because their automated scraping failed. I did it manually and it took roughly 10 minutes, but that's too much to ask of super geniuses working 120 hours a week. So in other words, if you go through the stuff that they're doing with a fine-tooth comb and their accounting of their own actions, they have no idea how the contracts work, the numbers don't add up, they lie and misstate things on a regular basis, and it's humiliating. This is humiliating. Now again, I want to be clear, literally none of this is legal anyway. It's all illegal. It's all unconstitutional. They have no right to hack into the back end of the Treasury or hack these different government agencies or cut off funds. Wildly illegal. But when they say, oh, we're incredibly transparent and you know everything we're doing, what they do is post lies on their social media account on a daily basis. And the other thing, this laying out all the stuff that they say they're doing, it has basic elementary mistakes all over the place. All right, but I got more. What else is Doge up to? The USDA says it accidentally fired officials working on bird flu and is trying to rehire them. In a statement, an Agriculture Department spokesperson told NBC News that officials are working to swiftly rectify the situation. I don't know, man. That sounds important. Losing people who work on food safety at the FDA, losing the people who are working on the bird flu pandemic as birds are currently dying in massive numbers because of the flu being spread all over the place. Again, this is when they fired this is just like when they fired the people who oversee our nuclear weapons the other day. They did, and they were like, oh my God, wait, they do what? They look, okay, all right, we're going to try to get them back. They fired 300 people, then they had to try to bring back all but 28. And also, they struggled after they fired them. They didn't know how to get in contact with them for a while. Oh my God. Fucking amateur hour, bro. Fucking amateur hour. So again, more real world consequences of what Doge is doing here. Illegally, unconstitutionally, every action they've taken. Look at this. Another medical horror story in a court affidavit from a U.S. aid employee stationed overseas says his pregnant wife was not medevaced for emergency health care because of directives from Washington. Took intervention of a U.S. senator to reverse it, but was too late. So Trump the other day could take a lap around the NASCAR track, which cost allegedly about $5 million tax dollars, but a $25,000 medical evacuation for a U.S. government worker overseas, can't do that. And there were dire consequences. More. This is Doge in practice, y'all. A disabled Army veteran who has 4 kids and did 3 tours overseas is fired from his job at Bronx VA hospital. So they say Luke Graziani, a disabled Army veteran, was 5 weeks from completing his probation year on Friday when he logged into his work computer at the Bronx Veterans Affairs Hospital. Waiting on the screen was a boilerplate termination email citing performance concerns. Graziani printed out the message and took it to his boss, who was shocked and promised to submit a request for exemption. Quote, "You're critical staff," Graziani recalled his boss saying. "We're going to try." Graziani, who is 45 and has 4 children, had believed until this weekend that his veteran status would protect his job. He served 20 years in the Army, first as a supply specialist and then in public affairs, deploying for 2 tours in Iraq and another 2 in Afghanistan before retiring in 2023. So a disabled Army veteran who has 4 kids lost his job. Elon Musk has gotten $20 billion in corporate welfare directly from U.S. taxpayers for his companies. $20 billion. He just got another $400 million to make armored Teslas. So Elon gets to keep his $20 billion, and this guy can't keep his job that he uses to provide for his family, this disabled veteran who served his country. Real world impacts of what they're doing. Guys, here's a point, and I'm sort of humiliated and embarrassed that this didn't occur to me sooner. Because remember, what's the nominal cover story for Doge? Bro, waste, fraud, and abuse, bro. They're going after waste, fraud, and abuse. Well, as you've seen 1,000 times over, that's nonsense. They look at any program they personally don't like, and they say, get rid of it, right? So the robber barons and the billionaires and the oligarchs, they keep shaking down the taxpayer and taking the money. But they look at something like USAID and cancer research for the NIH and HIV treatment for kids overseas and all these different things, and they go, fuck it, we don't like that, get rid of it, right? But the cover story is waste, fraud, and abuse. We're going after waste, fraud, and abuse. Well, guys, we already have in our government, baked into the system and already passed and approved by Congress, we already have a number of ways to track the waste, fraud, and abuse and right the wrongs, okay? So one thing is the inspectors general. Well, guess who fired the fucking inspectors general right when he got into office? Donald Trump. If you're really interested in stopping waste, fraud, and abuse, you would not have mass laid off the inspectors general. What that proves is you're actually okay with waste, fraud, and abuse as long as the waste, fraud, and abuse is going into your pockets and your donors' pockets and the billionaire robber barons' pockets. You have no problem with waste, fraud, and abuse. If you and your buddies are getting rich based off it, that's why you fired the inspectors general. You have all these corrupt deals and you want to keep them in the dark. Okay, that's point number one. The inspector general look for waste, fraud, and abuse. There's also the Government Accountability Office, again, approved by Congress, and their whole job is to crack down on waste, fraud, and abuse. So, by the way, here are some specifics on this. Fired Department of Labor IG Larry Turner found $191 billion in improper COVID unemployment payments, much of it fraud, and was hunting down $135 billion more when he was fired. Trump fired the people who were finding fraud in his COVID programs, replaced with Doge. So stop and think about that. You had somebody who was hot on the trail of all of the fraud and was doing their job, and Trump fired him. All right, more. Ready? Here you go. All I did, I just looked up, I Googled, how much has the Government Accountability Office found in fraud? Ready? The Government Accountability Office, or GAO, estimates that the federal government lost between $233 billion and $521 billion annually to fraud from 2018 to 2022. That's what they say. So they say, according to NPR, Annual fraud represents between 3% to 7% of annual federal budgets in that time period. It's a big number, but the vast majority of spending is not fraudulent. But again, let's be clear. You have the inspectors general. They crack down on fraud. And you have the Government Accountability Office. They crack down on fraud. That's what they do. And guess what? They take a fucking sledgehammer to all the people who are actually doing that and replace them with the world's richest robber baron and his pilled up Groiper 19-year-olds. And these guys go in there and just delete whatever they want to delete. It's got nothing to do with waste, got nothing to do with fraud, got nothing to do with abuse, which is why you see all these horror stories. Oh my God, they fired the people who oversee the nuclear weapons. Oh my God, they slashed cancer research for kids. Oh my God, they cut off HIV medicine for kids overseas. Like, the list goes on. Oh my God, they destroyed the anti-scam police, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. The list goes on, right? So everybody needs to understand what's going on here, bro. And the reason why Elon Musk in particular is saying, bro, I got Doge. I got nothing to do with Doge. I don't even know what you're talking about, bro. Doge. What's Doge, bro? The reason why he's doing that is because he knows, oh, everything I'm doing is illegal. Everything. Now, Donald Trump has the power of the presidency. He literally can't be criminally charged while he's in there, right? The only way you can fight back against the president is to impeach them and get it through and remove them from office. It requires massive numbers in the House and the Senate, but he would be, in theory, you could get him out of office, but there is no way to criminally prosecute a sitting president, right? So Trump has that protection. And it really puts him, in a sense, he is at least somewhat above the law, right? When he's a sitting president. Elon does not have those protections. And I think he is fearing, hey, if there's a time where Democrats get back in power, right? The laundry list of crimes I'm committing are fucking endless. He's committed probably over 500 crimes. And so in a sad, desperate, weak, pathetic attempt to cover his ass at the last minute, he's like, I don't even have anything to do with Doge. I don't know what you're talking about. Incredible, bro. Incredible. Everything about this is a fraud. Every single thing about this is a fraud, and it's super clear. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.